Managed asset management company, right? It's a fund management house, right? If you have mutual funds, they work pretty much the same way. The more money they manage, the more money they make. So there are two major revenue streams. One is the fee, which is usually 2% of the amount investors commit. So when people say that I have a 500 million fund, they are not sitting on 500 million in cash. They have promises to contribute $5 million. So what a VC fund does is when you're raising money, you give your investors a investment horizon. You will say that, look, commit $10 million to me, but I will draw over 2 years or over 3 years because you're not going to have investments on day one. Once you have the fund, you'll go looking for deals. You find deals, you take time to close. So in a year, maybe they'll do three, four, five deals. And totally, if they intend to do 25, 30 deals, then you're looking at like out of 10 million, 3 million, 4 million a year. So they will say, look, I will draw over 3 years. I will not draw more than one third in any year or 25% or less in any year. So you can plan your cash flow. So the venture capital fund is only sitting on money, on promises and not money. Second thing is they, of course, draw the fee on the entire promised amount. So it's a 2% on, let's say, 50 million or $500 million, right? So they take that kind of money home. Now that money is used to pay people, do the cost, you run around, meet people for deals and stuff like that. And because it is not a very large organization structure, it allows the venture funds to pay the main founders very well. So in a sense, they make some money whether or not the investments work out, right? But the real kicker comes in what is known as carried interest. The carried interest is a 80-20 split between the investor and the venture capital fund manager. So any investment so there is a hurdle rate. So they say that if as long as you do 8% compounded, anything over that, we will split 80-20. So if investment 8% compounded is, I think 6 or 7 years, or maybe 11 years. 11 years, the money will double at 8% compounded. Okay. So what they do is that's a proxy, that's like a risk-free rate of return. So their idea is that if you make more than that, then you deserve 20% of it. That's standard. Those terms are pretty standard. There'll be some variation here and there. Somebody will ask for 10, 11%. If there is a new team, investors can push back and say, give us a higher hurdle rate. If it's an old team, they'll say no hurdle rate, straight 80-20, all that. It depends on how well you've done, how well the team has delivered in the past. Second, third funds, if they've done well in the first fund, they can get better terms, right? Then there are institutional investors who have issues of policy. They will not invest unless there is a hurdle rate. So that, with all kinds of stuff. And they might have some investors coming at different deals, some investor different deals. So it all depends. It's not like everybody is cut with the same cloth. It's like they'll change it. It's a very large fund coming in, a very large institutional investor coming in, their involvement raises the profile of the venture capital fund. So they will cut a special deal. They will knock down fees. They will knock down carried interest. They do anything. You don't know that. Those are one-to-one deals. In fact, the other investors don't know what they are getting, right? So it's all fund to investor kind of deals. So that's the second source of revenue. So if because there is a hurdle rate, right? Venture funds do not draw the money till the investment is decided because the meter starts the minute they put the money to work. So they will only send a drawdown notice when the deal is done. So once the deal is signed up and they have to remit, they'll send a drawdown notice. Then the money comes in, they'll pay it out, and that's when their hurdle rate starts. Otherwise, if they sit on the money, the hurdle is already taking them at that much less.